recording again.
Oh, well, we haven't cussed.
I know, but there's certain things you can't say on freaking YouTube.
All we were talking was about the sub.
Yeah, I know. It's all good. Anyway, folks, I don't know what happened. I just got kicked to the curb, and I was in the process of trying to tell you about something that I've been trying to work on, and asking for people to come together and help me make this thing happen.
Oh, so that's why you got kicked to the curb?
Yeah,
Okay, I got it up.
the forces of darkness, they don't want us to succeed in what we're talking about.
I think it more likely they got bad aim and just hit you by accident.
Yeah, well, even if that be the case, it's still, it's kind of ironic that it happens every time we start on the certain subjects about, bringing people together. It's frustrating. But nonetheless, I'm not going to let it get me down. I got part 1 and part 2 of today's show again. Duct tape and baling wire. But anyway, prior to the event of getting smashed, let's go around the table there. What did you guys?
You mean duct tape and CIA handcuff wire?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the IRC chat back up.
All right, cool.
Oh, so you were both attacked by the LGBTQ, CIA, FBI, IRS.
Yep.
Anyway, so prior to that, what do you guys think about what I was talking about?
I wanted to touch bases on something you had said about people not really wanting to get involved, not wanting to, not sure what to do. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but trying to get people motivated, it's almost like people are depressed, they don't want to get involved in it. There's a lot of negativity going on. It is, they just don't, it's like, how can I explain this? The best way is, there's so much stuff going on.
Well, let me help you out.
Hey, before Dave buries it, take a look at those 2 images I sent.
Right. Dave, I'm gonna try to put this on YouTube, so tame on the bad crazy stuff, okay? Don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Anyway, just no effing this or.
No, not me.
Well, it's getting buried, man. Click on that and open that up, SHAZIZZ.
All right. Hey, Chris, are you around? Can you do that and screen share what he's talking about, please? Anyway, back on what my brother was saying real quick. The reason why people they're feeling hopeless is because they're overwhelmed with all the negativity that they keep throwing in on us. And so they think that one person can't do it. Is that close enough for what you was trying to say?
Yeah, they don't want to get involved in it. It's like, what am I doing this for? Why am I getting up? Why should I get in this? Why should I do this? And it's all because of all this negative stuff, and it's almost everybody's depressed.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But that's why I try to tell everybody, even if it's something simple, it doesn't matter. Every idea counts. We need you at the table. We need all hands on deck, so to speak. We need everybody to come together because the companies and corporations, they're not going to do it. All right, they got a bottom line. They want to make money. They follow whatever agenda they think is cool at the time. We want to fix the problem. Chris went out of his way and he made this. All right, he made this happen. This would not have happened had not Chris not come on the dream team. This would have never happened. Outside of me getting some sort of financial miracle and paying somebody to do what Chris did, he designed it. He put it together. I give him the basic idea of what I wanted to do. He got in a CAD program, and before it was all said and done, bam, he had it all together. All right?
It's almost like people need to have something good. They see something good happen, before they get inspired to get involved again, because
Well, that's what
they're waking up in the mornings and go, what am I fighting for? What am I doing this? It's the same old stuff happening every day, and I'm fighting and it's not working. So they need something positive that happens that they can actually see in order to kind of motivate them, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to do, because if we can lead by example, we're going to, you know, I keep beating a dead horse, I guess is what you'd call it, so to speak, but a bottle cap, all right? We took it from this to this, you know, like I said before, an idea is just an idea until you act upon it. But if two of us can get this done, and then whenever I was on there talking about figuring out a way to take an aluminum can and turn it into a token, my brother was over in Florida, and he was literally heating it up and pounding it and getting it all together. He came out with a little nugget that could be turned into a token. So we were combining our resources and our talents. He had tools, he had skills that I didn't have, and he made the thing happen right over there live on one of our radio shows. Thomas was over there sharing different types of materials that he had. Dave was telling us about a place that he's got in his neighborhood that has all kinds of resources available. I want to bring everybody, like my brother said, I want to inspire them. I want to give them something to see that is good that we're doing. There's a lot of brilliant people in this world. So what do you got any thoughts on it, Chris? What we were talking about before we got kicked to the curb? Chris, you still there? All right.
Yeah, I'm here. I just have to unmute myself and all that jazz. No, yeah, I agree, man. It's the more people we can get to come help, you know, the easier to be. But it's not that way, and it is what it is. But doing something similar, like, you know, something small like this, it could impact a lot of people. A lot of people could see the idea of taking something as simple as bottle cap, pressing it, and put it on a digital currency, so that way they can actually sit there and trade resources, you know. That could inspire a lot of people to actually get on board and want to do it.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is, if a little kid in Africa picks up this bottle cap and a little kid in America picks up this bottle cap, and they walk over and they put it in that machine, they're both going to get equal value straight across the board of this thing right here. And if this stays in digital form long enough, it's going to gain interest. If this stays in premium, recyclable mode, which would be this right here, it still has a value to it. You know, and you don't have to interact with the monetary system if you don't want to interact with the monetary system. Like I said earlier, if Chris has got this one over here and I got this one here and he wants this one and I want the vice versa, you know, we just swap straight across. No harm, no foul, no interference with the monetary system, just between him and I. We decide the value of this right here. We decide the value. Thomas might say, hey, man, I need 100 pounds of those green ones. Do you have 100 pounds of those green ones? He might have a resource over there, maybe some wood that I need, or aluminum or whatever. And I'll say, hey, I'll give you 100 pounds of these for maybe 5 pounds of, of aluminum or something. If that's worth it to him, we make the deal. We make the trade. At any given time, we could put this back in that machine and then interact with the monetary system, which then we know by doing that, we're going to have to interact with the laws of the taxes or whatever, you know, because we're playing their game on that side.
Yeah.
This is our game. See what I'm saying? What do you think?
Yeah, you could also take it as far as if Thomas has a machine that allows you to take that token and make it into 3D filament, you can pay Thomas so much money or so much in the plastic portion of it, you know, enough for you to actually make it into that 3D filament and maybe give him a couple extra for his labor and stuff. He could actually sit there and make it the 3D filament so you can take it and print stuff off with that filament.
Yeah,
Same thing with a plastic injection molding machine, and And same thing with the fuel induction machine that we'll talk about making as well. And there's more you can do with it than just, those things. You could do, just about essentially anything you want. Your imagination is what limits you on it. So.
Yeah, and the brilliant thing about it is we, the people, determine the value of any given material. If you don't like Chris's price, Thomas might sell his better, cheaper, whatever. It gives us that option. But the main thing is, it's killing two problems at one time. This isn't ended up in the trash. This is now being reused over and over and over again. I mean, I don't know how better to say it. We have unlimited resources if we so choose to use them properly. Somebody sharing.
Got the chat one running again.
All right, all I see is a whiteboard on this side. It hasn't came through yet. Maybe it's just got to catch up.
Yeah, I put the link in the Skype.
And that's another thing, folks out there. Troy, he's the one that's working on a network with chat rooms and stuff. There it goes. It finally came through. If you folks would go over there and just hang out in his chat rooms and help him out so he can test these out. I need as many people in that chat room. I have a hard time getting in there right now because I'm running a broadcaster and all these other deals for the networks and stuff. But everybody listening in, if you can get on that link that Troy's got and go into that chat room and let him do his magic behind the scenes, we'll have our own network. We'll be able to without having all these hassles that we got. They don't like what we're saying, so they kick us to the curb. That's what. This is what the bottle caps for mad science is all about. Thomas, you got anything you want to throw in there?
What's that?
I was asking Thomas if he had anything he wanted to throw in there. Apparently not. What about you, Lo? Do you have something else?
No. You guys are on the same thing. The network, that would be to where you wouldn't be tossed off every time you wanted to say what is true. And here, Ty, you and I both think outside the box. And they don't want you thinking outside the box. They want you thinking inside the box and stay right there. They want control of you. If you think outside the box, well, you see. If you think outside the box and you start questioning things, they're going to boot you off.
Yeah.
If there's a way to figure out, and Troy can figure a way to get your own damn network, do it to it.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I'm impressed with what he does. And so Troy is a valuable member on the Dream Team, just like everybody else out there. And we got neutrons, protons, and electrons. He's a musician. We should play some of his music on there too. I have in the past, and I'll dig some up and play it. But either way, he's in I think Scotland or Ireland. I can't remember. He's over in the UK somewhere. Go ahead, Chris. I think he's in Scotland.
Yeah, I was going to say that this whole bottle caps for mad science, the whole thing could have been pretty close of getting up off the ground. If we had other people that were, had the tools of making it right where you put this something similar to like a debit card and you put it inside this machine and it does all the whole networking process so that we can upload the token to the coin and get your digital currency. But that's not the case, and it's fine. We can sit there and work on it, but to have this whole system implemented, we could have had this, thing done a long time ago to get it all up and going. And that's where other people with other skills and stuff come into play too. So,
for Chris, this is where we're doing all of this with barely any funds and with just the knowledge of all of us.
Yep.
Whatever we've got, we're doing it. And hopefully that people are listening in and they see that we're trying to pull every string that we've got, but we're doing it with minimal refunds or refunds, funds. If I don't even know, trying to do a GoFundMe or trying to do like Ty does the coins and trying to raise a little bit of funds here and there. People look at sometimes certain people look at that. Oh, he's just grabbing money for nonsense things, but they don't realize what he's actually trying to do. They don't know what he's actually. They don't sit down and listen to all the 200 some odd videos that he's done. They don't see what you do. They don't see what Tom has done. They don't see what Troy has done. Somehow there's got to be a way to, the funds is the biggest problem that I'm seeing that we're having.
Yeah,
Funds is the problem.
just in my personal life, I've got thousands of dollars just like you, Lo. Thousands of dollars just to try to keep my head above water, just to get things fixed. But what I want to do is this is a little balloon, and it's got it's a bottle with a balloon in it, and it's a teaching tool. It teaches about air pressure and vacuum and stored energy.
The street was backing out.
This is just
First, I didn't see him. I hit him.
Chris. Can you mute?
I know. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That wasn't a big one.
Hold on, I gotta mute Chris. He's got the family thing going. All right. Anyway, this is a teaching tool. If I scroll this around over here, that machine right behind there, that's a teaching tool. There's a neodymium magnet accelerator over here. That's a teaching tool. This teaches you a bunch about science and physics and electricity and stuff like that. I need a cameraman or a camera woman, because I swear I'm working on duct tape and baling wire. Can barely hold the doggone stream together. People kicking us to the curb because they don't like what we're saying, The forces of darkness are coming down on us. So without all these people coming together, I need you to go to peopleforpeople.ning.com and visit them in the chat room and support their network. I need to come to SHAZIZZradio.com and support our network. Talk in the chat rooms. I need you to go on Troy's chat room and go in there and say hi. If you got the bandwidth to stream and be on there at the same time, do that. Take our stream and restream it or whatever. Just get the message out to everybody. We're trying to bring people together. Just you've seen this little examples of what we've been able to do by ourselves on basically next to no budget, just like your brother said. And so if you get all these people together and they share their resources, they share their talents and their gifts, and we pull our resources. Imagine this. They say there's almost 7 to 9 billion people on this world. What if a quarter of those 7 to 9 billion people came together and threw a buck in the pocket, or threw a dollar a penny in the bucket, whatever, dang it. Threw a penny in the bucket and basically helped out the cause. There you go. That's the little nugget my brother made out of a can while we were talking on a live show. We could turn that into a coin.
One Coke can.
Yeah, one soda can right there. But that's a premium resource. Now we could make a machine to either press it or melt it a little bit more and turn it into a token that looks something similar to either the plastic version or this one right here, if I can get it out of the doggone bag. I don't know why I keep putting it in the bag. It's in a little protective sleeve anyway. But now that one there would be made out of aluminum, pure aluminum. All right, so you got aluminum one, you got one made out of every single metal. You got plastic. This is, I believe, copper-coated zinc, because where I had to get this made, But either way, it has some value to it. it's still a premium resource. It can be used for something else. Even if you melted this down and made something else with it, whatever, it's still premium resources. These are raw materials. And what my brother just showed you right there, the little aluminum nugget that came out of one can, we can make a nifty little coin out of that, you know? Each one of these could be connected to that digital one. Go ahead.
This prototype was made with a washer, the center of a washer, a hammer, and a propane torch, and a cast iron skillet.
Well, you make and do what you got. That's what we've been doing. Duct tape and baling wire. Go look at my latest video, Redneck Air Conditioner. If somebody don't mind, find that dang link to that video and share it to out there to the chat room. It's called, I think I already shared it before in the chat room, but it's called Redneck Air Conditioner.
I'm wondering how many people the first time you said it heard redneck hair conditioner.
Oh, well, no, I don't know how to make that because I wouldn't, you know, my chemistry probably, you would be bald by the time.
It all depends on how many drinks they've had, and it's my time is 6:19, so they probably had a few drinks, so they definitely heard hair conditioner.
Yeah. Well, whatever it was, hair conditioner or air conditioner. AC for short. Heating and cooling, to be more exact. Yeah. All right. Zinc and copper are awesome. See, there we got somebody, Anita, in the peopleforpeople.ning.com. Right there knows the value of this coin right here. You know? So
bottom line, Ty, bottom line is you have pretty much everything on your property, or people have things around their home that they can sustain themselves if they have a little knowledge and some people around them, neighbors, people that construction, they can sustain themselves and be able to use things that they don't realize. Garbage. There's things they can actually use to get by, and they don't realize it, but they have to have a little bit of knowledge.
yeah, and that's what we want to try to find. I know there's some ladies out here like Patty Walking Turtle and Barbara Three Crow. They know a lot about natural medicines and stuff like that. They are like a wonderful asset to what would be the dream team. You know, there's so many people out there. We've had people do shows on peopleforpeople.ning and SHAZIZZ Radio that talk about alternative medicines and such like that, things that the system don't want you to talk about, you know. And so with that said, we are a basket of talent. You know, we got people all the way across the spectrum. Some people can just draw real good. That artist right there could be connected with Chris, who is somebody who knows how to use a CAD program, or Thomas, who knows how to use different programs, could transfer that art onto something that is a physical product. You know, you want to make a sign or something like that. You don't even have to go about starting a massive business where you go out and buy all this multi-million-dollar machinery to make one specific product and hope to be able to sell that one specific product. You could call up Thomas and say, hey, I need 100 of these. What would you charge me to make these for me? You know, bam, you know, swapping back and forth. He might need you to make something for him, vice versa. You know, even if it was just one, I need one prototype so that I can show this potential investor of the community that could potentially put us in a situation to where we could get government grants. You know, government's not always bad. I mean, it's our money we're paying in here anyway. If they're going to hand us off a piece of that so that we could succeed. But if we had the help from just all the average Joes themselves, we wouldn't need the government. You know, government don't do much but mess things up. And we don't want to mess things up. We want to fix them. So it's contrary to the goal at hand. You know, like I said, I picked up one of these one day, and a light bulb went on my head. I started talking to people on the radio and on my YouTube channel about it. The next thing you know, Chris comes along. Chris puts this together with the ideas that he heard me. It generated this right here, which moved us on to the next step to make a digital one. Now he's got the more advanced prototype that he's working on, and we're working on the networking and all that to when you put this in that machine, or you put this in the machine, this comes out. You got a choice. You could either leave this behind and stick your card in there and take the credit for it, or you could take this, put it in your pocket, go throw it in your treasure chest at home and just start counting them up, stacking them up, adding them up. And eventually you got 100 pounds of these. And you heard through the grapevine, Thomas wants 100 pounds of this. It's either red or orange. I can't tell the lighting in here. It's slightly orange. But either way, Thomas wants 100 pounds of these, and just so happens you got 100 pounds of them. You negotiate with Thomas. Thomas does some really cool stuff. He makes these really awesome home, awesome artwork goggles, for like steampunk kind of stuff. Hey, I'll give you that 100 pounds to make me a set of those. You never once had to interact with a monetary system. You just take and swap in premium resources for labor or skills or whatever. I'm telling you, folks, when you understand what we've been put on the table for you, when you finally realize what this is all about, what this is able to accomplish, we're handing you literally the Holy Grail. We're handing you a gift. And it doesn't just stop here. This is just a stepping stone. And if we come together and we actually make this happen, you got a project that you're working on, Mad Science is going to fund it. Mad Science is going to give you the money. Walk away. You do your thing. You come back later and tell me how it went. But if you need Mad Science to stick around and advise you and help you along the process, hey, we're there. We're there. That's what it's all about. It's us helping each other. Anita said we all connect in different ways. There was another who was speaking about dowsing, etc. Sorry, time to go practice. I don't think that was meant to be read on the radio. I don't know. I thought she was trying to say something to us. Anyway, yeah, there's so many different things out there going on. Right now we're talking about bottle caps for Mad Science. Help me to help you. That's what I'm asking. I'm not asking you to send me your money or anything like that. I'm not trying to sell you any what they like to call merch on merchandise. I hate it when they say merch. It sounds so ridiculous. Why can't you just use proper English and call it what it is, merchandise? Don't got to be knucklehead about it. Anyway, there were 200 of these in existence. There's probably only 120 or 130 of them left. We put on a link on there for $10 donation and 99 cents for shipping. You too can be the proud owner of a SHAZIZZ coin. Part of that money is going to go back into making another one of these coins. The other part of it's going to go towards building things like what you see here. Things like this right here. And together we'll start building the doggone infrastructure and the resources necessary to help everybody who's got ideas out there. I want to see Dave with a lab. I want to see him be able to afford to hire some folks. He's going to give them a job. They need a little bit of work. Maybe they want to get this job, and as they're going through this job, they pick up this machine and they say, hey, I got an idea. Jump over on the table. We'll help you with that idea. Virtual labs from here to there. If I can't afford to fly to Canada, we'll come together just like we're doing right now.
Hold
You
on.
can see us in my lab.
I'm
Go ahead, Mo.
buying a plane, remember? I'm buying a plane that I can fly to you.
There you go. And I'll tell you what, that'll be a wonderful day when we can look back and say, hey, you remember how we used to have to like go through all the trouble, go to the airport and get groped just to go visit one another, or drive all the way from one side of the country to the next and pay ridiculous gas prices because people just didn't get it? Look, this will solve your fuel crisis. This will solve your energy crisis. This will solve your resource crisis. It won't solve the cooperation crisis. That's you. That's a you thing. We're gonna have to decide to work together. Put our egos aside. My ideas aren't better than your ideas. You know, like I said, an idea is just an idea until you act upon it. When you act upon it, you get something like this: a physical something. It's going to do something. It's going to show people something, and it's just a stepping stone. It's not going to run your house. It's not going to run your house. It's not the free energy device. It's something that's going to lead to the financial portion to where we can afford to give you what you said you wanted. You know, it takes money to build things, to test, and all that kind of stuff. We're not a corporation. We're not a company. We're people. And if we help each other out, we can get a long ways. A lot more than you think. 2 people made that happen. My brother showed you that little nugget that he made in his garage and with using a washer and a frying pan and a torch and a hammer. We can make it better. And now we know that he can actually do that. We got a general idea. All you got to do is put that down on a scale. We know how much aluminum was able to be salvaged out of that can. It's a pretty good deal. You know, I'm working on one that this is a really crude model, but this is aluminum foil here. You know, kind of like you put over your barbecue grill or around stuff. And so using compression, I was able to make this one right here, but it's not as good as it could be because, you know, it's still, you can see cracks and layers in it, but it's still a premium recyclable. Ball of aluminum foil was literally turned into that right there. Now, what if I had a little bit of heat and hydraulic pressure and I could literally heat this thing up and just squeeze it together? Bam! Now you got a premium recyclable, you know, and standard size pretty close, but I didn't get it measured out. I just kind of just threw this together in a short deal. But you see what I'm saying? Premium recyclables. What else do I got in that deal right there? Oh yeah, these 2 right here were made out of different types of plastics. I think this one right here looks like it was, heck, I don't know. That might be clear acrylic for all I know. One of them was milk cartons. One of them was a milk carton, and one of them was a different type of a plastic. That looks like the same one there. But I thought I had a copy of a sample of each one for every material. I don't remember what this one here was actually made of, but not just bottle caps, not just plastics. We want to go into all different types of recyclables. Anything that goes in the trash. Working towards the zero waste economy. Go ahead, Lo.
Tied with the recyclables and stuff. A big part of my business as construction is, especially with people that have property. People that have property, they store stuff, and they have a lot of things on there. And I'll ask permission to walk around and see what they have on the property, so they don't have to spend more money on materials. I'll actually walk the property and see what they've got on the property that I can incorporate into the build, or incorporate into a deck, or incorporate into the house. And this is why I get so much business, is because I'm trying to save them money at the same time by not having to buy the materials. There's jobs I've gone on, they've stacked up 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x10s. They've got them sitting in their barn, and they don't realize what they've actually got sitting there. So when I go and look, and it may be that they got it from their neighbor. It may be that they picked it up from an old barn or something like that. It's recycling stuff that they have kept on and stored, but they didn't know what they really got. So
Yeah, and there's another thing you hit the nail on the head on something. Like in Dave's incidents, Dave has access to a place where it's like a community dump. Then basically they take all their junk down there, but they got no method for recycling the stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's standing literally on a gold mine. You might have somebody who has an appliance that needs to be repaired. He might actually have the part sitting there.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't realize what they've actually got sitting there, either at that dump, or they don't realize what they've got sitting on their property. And
Yep.
when this has been a big selling point of a lot of my jobs, has been a selling point, is me walking around on the property and saying, hey, you wanted this type of deal? Why don't we incorporate this in this? Why don't we and that's thinking outside the box. And this will save you, and this will give you what you're kind of looking for.
You could turn that old bathtub they had out back into a little goldfish pond, you know, or a water fountain.
It's all kinds of things, Ty. It's all kinds of things you would not believe what you come across. You just got to have that creative mind and that thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with our combined network, we would have access to, you know, get on here and say, hey, I'm looking for this. Anybody out there got one of these? And we could spread the word like the plague, and somebody somewhere has exactly what you're looking for.
Absolutely. It is out there. It is out there.
So that's what I say. You know, this bottle cap's for mad science. It's just, it doesn't even scratch the surface. Just a stepping stone. But with everything that Troy's doing with networking and the things that Dave, you know, may have access to in Canada and, you know, over there in Scotland and Ireland and, you know, all over the world. You know, we got friends all around the world. And there's things that they might have over there that we need over here, vice versa. So, hey, I'll ship this over there to you. You ship that over here to me, and we'll both have what we need, kind of thing. What do you think?
There's guys that upgrade their computer yearly. Troy, now looking into Troy and he's capable of doing, Troy could probably take a computer that's 2 years old. If somebody wants to upgrade their computer, bought a brand new computer, and throws that 2-year-old computer away, but if they handed it over to Troy, Troy could probably work miracles with that computer.
Oh yeah, he definitely could, and then that would also give him an extra. You know, he said he can use older machines. You know, that would give him an extra source of revenue that he could make, you know, some money to help support him. You know, so you got an old computer, you're getting ready to chuck it to the curb, give Troy a holler and say, hey, man, you need this? Because I'll ship it right over to you. You know, it gets it out of your hair. It doesn't go in the dump, and Troy has something to benefit from. You know, it's all part of the same project.
Yeah, Troy will look at it and say, okay, I can use this part, this part, this part. The rest of it I can get rid of. Or he can go, oh, man, this is only 2 years old. Let me link this up to this, and this. I'm not a computer guy. I'm still pencil and paper.
Troy needed a couple little gizmos here recently, and so I was able to mail it to him. And because Troy was helping me out, I also threw one of these in there as a surprise to him whenever he got it. So he got that in there. So, you know, he's part of the team, you know, and whatever resources I have access to, if he needs them, I'm going to try to help him out.
With Linux, depending on the Linux, you can actually use 20 to 40-year-old machines.
Okay, well, I tell you what, let's start talking to some of the business owners I know. If you want to go back that damn far,
As
Yeah.
long as it's a 586 or newer, I can probably put Linux on it.
now I was talking if it's 2 to 5 years old, Troy, I'm going to start having them start sending it up to you.
Yeah.
Hey, but don't underestimate because even a Commodore 64 and a TRS 80 still have uses.
Yeah, and
Believe
you
it
can
or not.
actually. I've seen people put Commodore 64s on the net.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be surprised what you can do with those old things.
You could set up BBSs with the old Telnet service, and I'm saying still get information around.
Yeah.
See, most just went way over my damn head. I can build you I can build you the Taj Mahal. Start talking computers, I'm done.
Well, you could build the rack that he would need for his servers, and Thomas can provide you the material because he's got these cool angles that he uses to build 3D printer racks and stuff like that. So
No,
Thomas can find you the material. You can build it with your welder, and you can ship it over to Troy, and then Troy now has some place to stack all these computers. And then if there's some part we don't got, we'll get on the horn with Dave, and he's over there in Canada, and he could go through that scrap pile with all his friends and see what they could come up with. And then over there on the peopleforpeople.ning side, they don't need something. They just need a little financial boost over there, so we can ship them a few bucks to keep them rolling on that side.
Yeah, Chris is kidding about vacuum tube computers, and I'm saying I know a few people that still use them.
Well, you know what? I would take the old vacuum ones over as far as if we ever had an EMP. The vacuum one probably still going to work after it's all said and done.
Well, the U.S. Army still uses vacuum tube radios in headquarters and stuff because they don't get hit by EMP.
Yeah. So with all this combined knowledge, with all the vast sum of all man's knowledge at our fingertips with this thing we call the internet, there's no reason why we can't solve every single problem under the sun. That's what the dream team's all about. Remember the dream team. That's what it's all about. And we want people on the dream team. If you think you ain't got nothing to offer, you're fooling yourself because everybody has some sort of talent. Even if all you can do is sit there and do that right there on the computer. You know, you can help us out. You could be sending links out to people, or, you know, if you got an old printer and a few extra pieces of paper, make up a few flyers and send them out. Put them on, you know, wherever you can do it legally. Hey, here's the thing that's going on. Go check out the Mad Science or the Knights of the Round Table show. Go check out Bottle Caps for Mad Science. I'm trying to get into this festival because I'm going to be able to have access to a whole lot of people that I can talk to and tell them about what we're doing here. I'm trying to get into this fair up here at the other town so that I can actually have a conversation with the mayor and the people who live in that town to help them resolve their recycling issues. Both these places have a recycling issue. I want to show them how to turn their trash into money, how to turn their trash into a premium recyclable. Give them two options, a monetary system and a resource-based economy system, all in one shot. And with the people in their town that have skills and machine shops and tools, maybe they will believe in the dream so much that they'll offer to help me mill this thing down so that I can get it perfect on this one right here. And I can bring this gap in between there to where it's not touching, just a hair away from it. That way it'll make a perfect token every single time out of one bottle cap.
Hey, Ty,
Yeah.
can components from games like PlayStation, Nintendo, components from any type of games can those be utilized for computers, or they're
Oh
not?
yeah, yeah. What you got right there is essentially a PlayStation, a Nintendo, an Atari, a Commodore 64. Those are computers, and you'd be surprised. You get out there online, you'll see what people are doing with some of these old systems on there. Some of the modern day PlayStation games, the game boxes or whatever they call them nowadays, these things have graphics in there that you wouldn't believe because they have to be able to run these real time. Videos.
That's my plane. Sorry,
Huh?
that was my plane. Dave threw up the plane.
Yeah, there you go. But either way,
the
yeah,
question,
to answer your question, go ahead.
the question I had is, okay, I've got 3 or 4 of the games that the kids had, and I found those as I was rummaging and cleaning up my shop area. If that's something that Troy can use, do me a favor, send me Troy's address, and I'll ship those up to Troy. If those are that he can use for his,
Oh, he could definitely use them. Even if he just sold them to buy a computer part that he needed, they would still benefit him.
all right. Later on, just get with Troy, get his address and everything, and I'll ship those things up to him. I'll make a package and send those up because I was getting ready to throw them out.
All right. Well, I've got Troy's address. I can give that to you. I'll just send it over in your Skype over there or Facebook Messenger. I'll do it that way.
Okay. Because I'd rather send them to Troy. If he can make something work out of them, I'd rather send them to Troy than throw them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, let me see right here. All right. I'll copy this and send it over to you in your Facebook Messenger. See how freaking easy that is? Man, that's what I'm saying. With the access to what we got right now, you got some things that you're going to throw away, and then you're willing to ship them over to Troy if they'll benefit him. I know they'll benefit him because even if he could just, sell them to buy parts that he does actually need or whatever, then, it's going to benefit him one way or another. Now I got to find you on Facebook. Ah. All right, which keyboard I need? All right. You should be getting a notice right about now. Did it come?
There it goes. It came in. Okay. 1,200.
Don't read it out. Don't read it out.
I got it.
All right, there you go.
All right. Well, Troy, you're going to receive a package. It might take him, well, where he's at, it might take you a little bit to get there. You're going to receive a package with a bunch of games in it.
Well, there you go. See how that works? Dave, if you took that system that you got you a couple young people that could help you out and go there and mark down the doggone numbers on the back of appliances and pull them apart and label those parts and all that kind of stuff, you're standing on a gold mine right now. Somewhere out there, somebody needs those parts. And if you got them boxed and labeled, and they're able to ship them out, and, there you go. Well, all I'm saying, folks, is that where there's a will, there's definitely a way. We've got access to all kinds of materials that people are just willing to throw away. They want to give it away. You'd be surprised at how much free stuff there is in this world. People want to clean up the doggone garage. People want to clean up the streets. They want to clean up their creeks and their streams. There's so much trash in this world. We could take that trash and we could turn it into a real world solution. Give people what they need. Make sure everybody's got fresh water and food and shelter. Anybody got any thoughts?
tie the two, the idea of walking through somebody's yard and looking and see what they got. I put a proposal out and I sold the job. Actually, I sold it this week. They want a patio deck in the front. They want a patio deck in the back. Now, this is a younger couple. One's a police officer and the other one's a nurse. So I designed a patio deck for both of them, and I called them a he deck and she deck. They went nuts over it. And they're actually battling over it, and I'm going to enjoy this one because he gets to do what he gets to have what he wants on his deck. She gets to have what she wants on her deck. And when they found out that I was going to walk the property and incorporate whatever they've got out there to accommodate her and whatever to accommodate him. And I told him, he's a police officer, he's a sheriff. I told him, I said, you're always gone. You're on 12-hour shifts. I said, if you want, I can put a blink camera, a little small blink camera on there. And then when she comes out on your deck, you can pop up and go, hey, get off my deck. You don't belong on my deck. You go back up on your deck.
I see you there. That's my spatula for my barbecue. Oh yeah. You gotta have fun with stuff like that, man. But you see, we're not limited. We're not limited by our imagination. We're limited by our funds and how much people are willing to work with one another. If we combine our resources through trials and tribulations, through thick and thin, as long as we can hold access to communication, we got it made. If I got an issue, I say, hey, look, I got this over here. Anybody got any of this particular material they can help me out with or whatever, and they willing to do that? Maybe I got something that they want in exchange. We can do it. We could definitely do it. But anyway, I titled today's show, Help Me to Help You. And I've given you a few examples of how you can help. One of the best ways you can help is share my videos or share, the information, anything, any link that you see on here that you're interested in and you believe somebody else would be interested in it, share it, man. Get these things flying around. When everybody says, hey, where's all this information coming from? Well, it's coming from peopleforpeople.ning.com and SHAZIZZ Radio. These folks over here are getting things done. You want to find something out? Get a hold of one of these two networks right here. If they can't find it, nobody can. We got a guy in our chat room called Stephen Gibbons. Awesome guy. I even made him a moderator on the deal. So don't give Stephen no lip in there. He'll kick you to the curb. But he had put a page together called Stephen's Resource Page. It's on, if you scroll up in the Super Chat room, it says Stephen's Resource Page on there. He's got links to all these different alternative energy researchers, right? So if you're in alternative energy, go check out his work. Chris has got a page on there. Thomas has got a page on there. Everybody who wants a page on there can get a page on there. Go to peopleforpeople.ning.com and you can literally get you your own kind of like Facebook kind of thing, because he's got your own profile page and all that, and you got access to the chat and all the fellowship of the people from Scotland and Ireland and all over the UK and the United States. So if you can't find a friend out there, you're not trying. You don't even got to try to find a friend. Just show up. They'll find you. That's a pretty cool thing, man. What do you think?
Everybody left you.
Well, don't everybody jump to the microphone at once. I wouldn't want anybody to chip a tooth. Oh, God.
Honestly, I'm surprised Tom hasn't jumped in there.
Tom's taking a nap. He's a conservative. He conserves his energy and his thoughts until you either hit his funny bone or you upset him. Then he's in there. But nonetheless, he ain't got no problem throwing you under the bus either. So watch out.
And
So Dave,
first and backing over you.
yeah. So Dave, what's happening on your side of the realm?
I took some stuff to the dump the when was it? Last Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're starting to clean a lot of the stuff up. They took a lot of the electronics and a lot of the fridges and freezers and that out of there. But there's still a lot of stuff in there.
Somebody must have been listening to us, Dave.
Yeah, well, they
Must have been.
it's good. It's good that they're doing that. But I mean, what's even worse is people are throwing tools out. Perfectly good tool sets and whatever they're throwing out. And I picked up some stuff, but it's impossible to get everything. It gets buried,
But it's
it gets buried in the mud, and it's hard to get. And you got to watch for bears.
well, maybe we could figure out some way in order to get it organized for the future where you wouldn't have to worry about bears. Where there's a will, there's a way. But maybe we could figure out a way to get a warehouse that's as big as the place where they're putting all this stuff, and maybe they'll just give it to you.
Well, you just use the buddy system. If a bear attacks you, give him your buddy.
Yeah, I'd give him my brother, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, this I do know. Ty is definitely slower than I am.
Don't have to outrun you. I don't have to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun you.
That's it. Now you got to be careful because these bears aren't afraid of people.
Yeah, that's deep fried pickles.
Yeah. I don't know if the bears would eat bread or pickle. They might. I ain't sat around and had a conversation with a bear long enough to find out.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not particularly interested in that part of the conversation. Let me tell you.
Well,
Deep fried
Yes.
pickles.
I love my brother, but I'm going to trip his ass before I go running.
Yeah.
Oh, rude.
You don't have to be faster than the bear, just faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
Hey, they're only black bears, but they're big. They're some big ones. You know,
You
500,
know what my
600.
wife said? You know what my wife said one time? If we fell into a pit of crocodiles, she said she'd climb over me to get out. And she said, and I said, man, what, you gonna leave me hanging? And she said, yeah, you got that karate stuff. And I said, well, that's crocodiles we're talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta love her, man.
It's a crocodile, not a karate dial.
Yeah. It chopped my foot off trying to kung fu him or something. Oh, man.
Hey, man. Hey. This is mad science, not KFC. Don't be indecisive. Don't be a chicken.
Yeah, besides that,
There's Tom.
I'm kind of skinny, so there's not much meat on my bones. Like, we got to find somebody who's got a little bit more meat, like Chris. You know, that'll satisfy him long enough for us to get out of there.
Yeah, or one of us old guys that can't run.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave. We love you, bro. But survival of the fittest.
Dave, they take one bite out of Ty and they spit him back out and say he's too damn pony.
Yeah. I'll just throw Dave on my back and drag him out.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm getting too old to run.
Well, we'll get you out of there, Dave.
Why I like the big head starts. Keep the bear minimum 20 feet away from me.
We can do it. You know, like I say, where there's a will, there's a way, man. Even if you're getting attacked by bears or Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster or whatever, you know, we can fix it. So that's the whole thing. You know, fixing our world's the easy part. Look at this. How you made this nifty banner that's up there on the wall. Hope y'all can see that. The light shining on there. But made two of these banners right there. It says fixing our world is the easy part. SHAZIZZ.com. You know, I'm getting ready because I want to try to, you know, get together and talk to some people in real life instead out here on the internet kind of stuff. Want some one-on-one conversations so they can ask me real time. We tried that with the internet. Doggone it, if you're in like a live video stream and people are just like scrolling the chat and you can't catch in a word in edgewise, people get frustrated and they go away because I'm trying to ask you a question and you're not seeing my question. I've reached out to some of these people on the larger platforms and told them because they had said that there was a problem, and I said, I got the solution, you know, and there's my comment going down there as the new ones are coming in. It's like throwing a bobber in the river and expecting everybody to see that bobber as it's going downstream because the next bobber comes in, and then the next one, and the next one, and then somebody looks over, they see a bobber, but it ain't the one that you threw out there. I want to give them that option. If they're standing face to face with me, they can literally ask me the question and I can point the answer out. I got it right here in my hand. I'll show it to them, you know. I'll explain it to them. Why do I say this will work? This will work. Why do I say it's a solution? You know? And if they believe in it from that point on, maybe we got another person on the dream team. That's what it's all about. You know? Okay. Anybody got any thoughts? Thomas, you got anything?
I got to jump in the pool.
Jump in the pool then. I turned my AC on, but it's like, sounds like a jet engine. Listen to this.
No, we know. You've done it before.
Can you hear that? It feels nice and cool on the neck.
Yeah.
All right, there, it's off again. See, see how much I suffer for all you people out there? All the people around the world? I could be sitting in the AC and minding my own affairs and not even worrying about the world, but doggone it, man, I got grandbabies. One of them you can probably hear in the background. She's a happy baby. All right, and so I want to make this world better for her. Right here. I was going to say this earlier. I don't know if I ever got around to it. This is a Walmart shopping bag. If you're driving down the road and you got a catalytic converter on your car and this is blowing down the road, this will literally fly up and it will laminate itself to your catalytic converter. Chances are it won't catch fire, but it will stink for months. I mean months. You'll have a plastic laminated catalytic converter that you'll smell that stinking burning plastic for months. What would you rather see? This stuck on your catalytic converter or turned into this type of material right here that could literally build, imagine a stack of these, a dowel rod, you know, 6 feet long. And then you turn around and you use the strength of this material right here that came from these bags right here to make geodesic domes. And you could cover those geodesic domes in different types of clear plastic that you could then in turn turn it into a greenhouse. David Pantone, I think, David Pantone, Paul Pantone's son, working on the Geek deal, he makes geodesic domes. If he had that type of material and he had the type of skills to put these things together, we've had David on here before. Yeah, we can get him on here again. But either way, we could turn all these things, all these different materials that we're talking about, not just into premium resources, but like precious plastic, we could turn them into things like building materials, 2x4s and boards and planks or whatever, a 4x8 sheet of thick plastic that you could build things out of, or you could make it a little thinner, build something a little lighter weight out of it. you're only limited to your imagination what you can make with this stuff. Instead of it ending up in the landfill, let's either turn it back into what it was to begin with, and then turn it into fuel. Let's turn it into a new fly swatter for Granny to keep the flies off of the stuff in the house. You know, let's turn it into something. Let's be creative. Let's turn it into 3D filament, you know, for a 3D printer or for an injection molding machine. It's a petroleum product. Unlimited resource. You're standing on a gold mine, literally. You think it's trash, but it's treasure. My grandpa used to say that. One man's junk is another man's treasure. Do you remember him saying that, Lowell?
Yep, absolutely. Grandpa used to say that all the time. Well, you got to remember, Grandpa used to take us to the dumps. He knew where the illegal dumps were. How we built our first bicycles from dump sites.
Yep, and remember all the times we used to go around and pick up lead off the side of the road that flung off somebody's car, take it down to the bait shop and sell it to him because he made fishing weights out of it?
Yep.
Or we'd all be out gathering up return for deposit bottles and turning them into the grocery store down there and getting money for candy and going up there. Literally, with about $1 or $2 worth of change from recycling, you could go up there and all these kids could leave up out of there back in those days with a flying airplane that had a little rubber band on there. You twist it up and it flies. And some candy.
The pack of bubblegum cigarettes that you blew through and it looked like you were smoking.
Yeah. Yeah. Candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
I tell you, those were the days.
This is what kids don't remember these days. But Ty, you got to remember when Mom went to Pennsylvania and left Grandpa in charge of us and put in Safeway dumpster. And we was rummaging through Safeway dumpster for cans, powdered eggs, cabbage.
Yeah, then old Jim Party pulls up in his wagon and he's on the PA saying, "Hey man, get all that trash."
Yeah, Party. On his
PA system. And then Grandpa's over there like this, "Go away, man." He's trying to be nonchalant.
See, kids don't understand those things. We grew up with that type of things. We wasn't rich. We know what it's like. We definitely know what it's like.
Those heads of cabbage, only the outer layers were bad. You just peel off the outer layers and the inner layer's still good. And so you could make cabbage stew out of it.
You remember how much hell Grandpa got when Mom came home cooking all that purple cabbage and stained her stove.
Well, not only that, he lived through the Depression, so he knew how to be thrifty. So she had gave him money for groceries and stuff, but he was thrifty about it. So he saved a little few bucks. We're sitting around eating cabbage and beans and drinking Kool-Aid and eating biscuits and
popcorn.
Yeah.
Cabbage.
And so we're all sitting around tooting, and Grandpa would be singing that song about the frog on the log in the hole in the bottom of the sea while picking on his guitar, and everybody's farting in the house. Remember that?
Yeah. How can you forget it? You can't. You can't forget it.
Well, we got to bring those good old days back, man. We got to have those good old days for our grandchildren.
Yeah. And I try to keep those for my granddaughters. I try to keep those days around for my granddaughters. Yeah. The silliness. You got to have the silliness in there. That's what the world is losing, is that silliness.
Every year, Grandpa would take the basement of his house and he would turn it into like a carnival. He had a old board, a big old 4x8 sheet of plywood, and it had balloons with little pieces of paper inside there. and you threw a dart at it and you win a prize. And he had all kinds of games, and he'd play checkers with you, and he made it so much fun. And we were poor. But every kid had such a good time because you come out of there with candy. You got a stack of candy. You got to play. You got to feel like you won something. You know?
Even if it was just, Tootsie Rolls or a bubble gum, whatever it was just minute things. But to us back then, it was a gold mine. It was a gold mine.
And, and Grandpa was such good-hearted, good sense of humor. If you come in there and he's playing checkers, you want to play, I'll play you for that candy bar. You better not set that candy bar down and play him, because the next game he'll be eating your candy bar. Because Grandpa was a checker champion. But the thing about it is, you might feel bad because you lost the candy bar, but on the way out the door, he's always going to give you another one. He already had it planned. He just wanted to give you a rash while you're playing checkers.
Well, Ty, remember what was the one thing that you couldn't take from Grandpa, that unless he gave it to you, there's one thing that you could not take, and he'd always stick it on top of his damn ashtray when he ate. What was the one thing?
It's chewing gum. I'll throw that away. That's still good.
You never touched his chewing gum.
Oh, man. Those were the good old days, man. We could sit around and talk about stories of Grandpa for years, but the thing is, I'm a grandpa now. You're a grandpa now. We want to ensure for our grandchildren, that's why we're on this show. That's why we do what we do. And that's why we're reaching out to everybody and his brother out there to build the dream team. Don't forget that phrase, dream team. Put that in your mind, dream team. We want you to be part of this team. Because every idea that you got, what little tiny resources you got, we'll match with what little tiny resources we got together. We'll meet in the middle and we'll get something done. That's what it's all about. Bringing it down to the simple. We talked about how this right here and this right here, I done dropped it on the ground, and then I grabbed the wrong one. These two right here don't seem like that big of a deal. But when you see what this is going to lead into, when you see what this is capable of, this is a petroleum product. You could turn this into what they like to call fossil fuel. You can turn it into fuels. Problem is, a lot of folks don't like fossil fuels. They think that fossil fuels are bad. Fossil fuels a lie. All right? This isn't a fossil fuel. It's a petroleum product. Nonetheless, regardless of all that, if this is what you're worried about and the carbon emissions that you might get out of an internal combustion engine, we have the technology right now to reclaim the exhaust. Over there, Garage 64 in Russia, they're either in Russia or they're in Ukraine. Same place. Ukraine is part of Russia. Nonetheless, they took one Lada, which is a car, and they ran another Lada off of the exhaust of the first Lada with something that I said years ago. Told them how, when they would try to burn the exhaust straight out of the exhaust pipe, they couldn't get it to burn very good. But when they run it down through a bubbler system, guess what they did? That hot gas and the emissions coming out of there mixed with that water, and it made a hydrocarbon, which now they put right straight down into the intake of another and started that engine up and ran it. So it tells you by the time you get to that next car's exhaust, the exhaust coming out of that is clean. So by doing this, you can literally recirculate the fuel in that car and get better gas mileage. And you can literally take that and clean that exhaust up to where these carbon emissions that everybody's so worried about, the big boogeyman of the world, which is another lie. But I don't want. giving the devils his dues. I'm not going to argue with the climate changers. You know, they're misguided. They've been taught false science, but nonetheless, if they're giving the devil his due, if they think it's a problem, we have the solution. We'll solve that problem for them. I'll clean that exhaust up so doggone clean you can just go sit there. You can go shut yourself in the garage with the exhaust pipe running. I'll sit in the garage with the engine running, and you're not going to die. Literally, you're not. You just got to understand what's going on inside that engine. You got to understand why it is that you're getting exhaust fumes out to begin with. Why 60% of the fuel that you put in your car goes out the exhaust pipe. Why it is that when you mix ethanol with regular gasoline that you get gas that doesn't last very long and won't store very long. You're literally putting sugar in your gas tank. So when you do that and then you let it sit for too long, it'll start to revert into stuff that'll gum up your carburetor or your injectors or your gas tank or the fuel line or all of the above. Literally, we can solve all these problems. Hydrogen technology, you name it. We got it all. You can make that car run on pure distilled water if you want. And I done offered my services to anybody, you know, just humor me long enough, take your machine shop and your skilled craftsman and build it just like I said. Then everything that comes out, all I want is one prototype for my effort. Everything that from that point on, you patent it, you sell it, it's all yours. I don't care. I just want to be able to show everybody I told you so. You know, here it is. It's right here. It works. It's a little two cycle engine or a little one stroke, whatever. You know, whatever. Just a simple concept to show you that you're only limited by your imagination, and if you can dream it, you can build it. You know, all you got to do is have these people come together, the dream team. You got somebody in your community who can weld. You got somebody who's a real good TIG welder. There's people out there that can fix all kinds of stuff. So, if you're ever in the state of Missouri, my brother-in-law, as far as I'm concerned, this is my own biased opinion, but my brother-in-law is the best welder in the state of Missouri. And when you weld something together, it looks like the dang machine did it. He's good, and it's durable. He'll think I'm just giving him too much credit, but I don't think he gives himself enough credit because I've seen his work. I've seen what he can do. You know, but you got guys like that in your neighborhood. You got guys and gals out there that have talents and skills and all the products that you want available to you. You can put a notice out there on one of these social media networks and say, hey, I want a new Mad Science shirt because my Mad Science shirt's getting faded. These guys want $30 to replicate this shirt. You call me up and say, hey, maybe slightly less quality material, but I can do it for 15 or 20. Hey, there you go. I'll do it. I just need it to look good. You know, I'm just saying. We have access to that. And you guys and gals have your own industry right there. What machinery you need that somebody else has got, you could maybe borrow it or a little bit of work. I got a custom job that I need somebody to do. Call my brother up. He's got ideas. Call Thomas up. He knows about chemistry. Call Chris up. He knows about CAD programs and Arduinos. Call doggone Remy from Australia. He can help you program them. Dave over there in Canada, he's got access to some used equipment out there. He can tell you what he's got and what he don't got. We had somebody out there who'd be willing to sit around and categorize or catalog everything. Dave could say, hey, I got this model right here. They could print out a label, ship it right over. Dave sticks it right to the doggone box and ships it out to whoever wants it. That's how much power we got. The power of the way we spend our money, who we buy from, who we don't buy from. We got a resource-based economy. We got a monetary system style economy that is working for the system over there. Companies, corporations, governments, all there on this side of the fence. Here's we, the people on our side of the fence. our power is a magnitudes times more powerful than them because we got the numbers, we got the material, we've got the resources, and most of which we can get for free because it's in the trash. People are trying to get rid of it. You know, pay somebody to come in there with a big old massive truck, unload your garage into the dumpster, and take it away to who knows where. I've watched as they've emptied up entire houses full of everything that is reusable, and it's all going into this dumpster. And people know when they're throwing it away, what a waste, man, because somebody out there could use this. Donate it to charity. Don't throw it in there and bust it up. Send it on down the line. Get on this app that we could put together, and the app would say, hey, I got this lamp. We're getting ready to throw it in the dumpster. Anybody out there want it? And somebody raises their hand. Like here on Skype, you got this little thing. You can raise your hand if you want to talk.
Hold on, Ty. Can I show you?
Yeah. Yeah.
This deck I'm sitting on. This deck is literally scrap.
Well, turn your video on, and I'll pin you to the deal. That way you'll be bigger on the screen.
This is literally. And let me swap this. How in the hell I swap this around?
I don't know. It's your phone.
Hold on, I'm working on it. Where's that swap? Damn it.
Should be like right on the top. Looks like some sort of little loop thing with an arrow.
There's a swap here. Rotate. All right. This is literally.
Turn it sideways. Turn your phone sideways.
Okay. This is literally scrap from job site. This is what this whole deck. Hold on a second. All right, let me start here. This whole deck is literally scrap. The railings, they was throwing the railings away. And those 4x4 posts is what I had sitting on the property. The granite top, that is from a demo job that we was going to throw away. Now, I'm not finished with it, but this is all scrap. Not the chairs and not that. This is all scrap from that they were going to throw away. This is a granite top from there. This is all, every bit of this is scrap that they was going to throw away. Every bit of it.
Well, it looked beautiful.
Including this. I took every bit of this off of job sites that they had in dumpsters. Every bit of it. Including granite that's on this part right here.
Now, if you had to estimate what it would cost you to go out and buy all those materials, what do you think you
for this deck right here? At least 15 grand. At least 15 grand to build this deck. Right?
Well, there you go, man.
That is all scrap that they was literally that I pulled off of job sites. And that's not kidding of anything that how much waste gets thrown away.
That's what I'm saying.
Boards that they think is too short. And yet you've got to be a creative mind and know where to put laps and stuff and how to use it. That's it.
There you go.
That was in a dumpster. Stainless steel grill. So I dug it out. So I'm making it into that. I'm slowly but surely, but this was literally all scrap. So you can't tell me that you can't recycle stuff. So that's my point right there, to just kind of follow up on what you were trying to say.
Well, that's the perfect example. You got something, Chris?
Yeah, I got something. I might have some noise in the background, but they're saying by the year 2027, I'm just going to go and share a screen.
All right, well, let me unpin him and pin you to the screen.
It says the Pentagon creates roadmap for zero trust internet access by 2027. Essentially, what they're talking about is if you don't have a digital ID and you haven't been good, then they're going to take away the you not having internet access. So
Well,
the thing of us being able to create our own internet probably, should be, started here pretty soon.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why we need guys like Troy. You know, if we're gonna maintain freedom, which everybody who's ever heard me, I might make a lot of people mad. You know, I might alienate a lot of people with my political views and, you know, the way that I tell truth. But yes, my brother, I'm not going to tell you some make you feel good lie. I'm gonna tell you just like it is. You know, I'm willing to stand up and fight for my freedom and my brother's freedom and everybody else's freedom. Your freedom. Unless we're willing to do that, these people are going to continue to do what they do, and throwing us into a realm where we gotta comply and be chipped, or have a digital coin, a digital currency that they control. We need to control it. We need to control it via resources. A resource-based economy will rival their system. There's no way that they can compete with this. This is trash. This is free. You watch. When they find out what we're doing, they'll try to make this illegal. You can't use this trash. They'll use whatever excuse that they can come up with. They'll say it's too dirty, or you might cause a disease, or whatever. They'll do whatever they can possibly do to discourage the people from this. But the reality is, we know the truth. And if you take this idea and you run with it now, by the time they get around to their 2027 goal of having us all chipped, or on a digital realm or whatever, not being able to get on their internet, to hell with their internet. We know enough about technology that we can build our own internet. We don't even have to be connected into their infrastructure, their wires, or nothing. Tesla taught us something back in the day. One of the most important things he taught us is how to transmit energy from one place to the next without using doggone wires. We can do it. The thing about it is, do you want to do it? Do you want to work under the thumb of the false security of a government or a corporation, or the criminal entities of the world who seem to get by with everything under the sun and they never are held accountable, whereas you're by a different standard, you're always held accountable? If you did a fraction of what they did, you'd be under the jail. We're trying to give you the holy grail right now, people. We're trying to give you what you asked for. You wanted clean, renewable, alternative energy with a way to contain it. You got a storage system over here. I didn't even turn this thing on today. And normally I turn it on right before the show, and by the time I'm done talking on the show, it's already fully charged up and ready to go. So it's on again. But that'll teach you about storing power. That'll teach you about transferring power from one to the next, and then being able to store it in multiple different ways. This will teach you basically how to go from 0 hertz all the way up into the radio frequency range. Over there will teach you about energy, how energy travels downstream like that, and you can have 9 different circuits that normally would take a lot more power than this thing's actually able to put out. You're not getting out more power than you're putting in. What you're literally doing is creating a surplus of stored energy. So from there to there, you're starting off with a little bit of input, and you're ramping it up, and you're taking away the current and the watts and the amps. All you're doing is using the voltage pressure to store that power. You get all that back later when you get into this realm right here, where this is basically acting like a battery. This is the equivalent of a 12-volt car battery right here. But you take all this stuff and combine it all the way down that other end. The amount of stuff that this thing is running, it should not be able to. And it's not getting out more energy than we put in. It's just creating a surplus. When I did my redneck hot tub, I thought that more people would catch on to this fact. It took 4 to 6 hours to heat that thing up to operating temperature. Second. But once it got up to operating temperature, you had to shut that thing off at some point because it would get too hot for you to sit in there, because literally what I made was a battery. It was stored heat energy in that water. In the dead of winter, with absolutely no insulation around the outer tub, underneath the tub, sitting on top of a wooden deck that's this far off the ground, where you got wind gusts going underneath there, you got ice hanging from the trees and snow coming down. I was able to sit in that hot tub in the dead of winter in my shorts. Now, getting out of the tub and back to the house, pins and needles. But while I was sitting inside that hot tub, I'm regulating my body temperature and sitting around drinking a cold drink in the dead of winter in my swimming trunks. Now, I ought to tell you something, you know? And so, what might be amusing to somebody, I mean, it was a coffee pot element, for Pete's sake, a little 110 coffee pot element running through a swimming pool pump. It was then circulating down into the pool and then draining out of the bottom of the drain and going right back up into the system. You let that recirculate, it starts gradually building up the heat energy in there, and before too long, out in the dead of winter, this doggone thing you can see steam coming off of it. You can go out there in the dead of winter and sit out there in that hot tub off of 110 volt element. I think, what's your average coffee pot, Chris? Is it 1,000 watts or something like that? Is that what it is? Somewhere around 1,000 watts? I don't know. How many watts is in a coffee pot?
1,000 watts.
All right, so there you go, 1,000-watt element. You're not using big 220 line in order to run this. You're using a little bitty extension cord with a freaking coffee pot element. And the funny thing about it is, that little plate on the top of there, if I had a cup of coffee that I wanted to keep warm, I could just set it right up on the top of that little plate because it's hot up there too. I could sit there and boil me some water, make me some herbal tea or something on there. Go look at the redneck hot tub video. You know, share it around. I had the backyard inventors wanted to come around and do a deal, but it never made it on TV for some reason. I don't understand why it never made it on TV. We actually filmed the episode, but they never played it. I don't understand why. Maybe because I talked about Tesla and free energy and things like that. It is what it is, man, but we live in a world right now where fairness isn't the top priority for those who supposedly represent us. And the governments of the world, they've dropped the ball. Mainstream science, they dropped the ball. That's why mad science stepped in. Mad science is real science. Mad science ain't going to lie to your kids. You know? What do y'all think? Well, don't everybody jump to the microphone at once.
I think it's tremendous.
Cool. Well, you see this bead of sweat on my forehead? See that wetness? I don't know if you can see that or not. I got an HD camera. It's hot in here. It says on this semi-accurate doggone deal, which is basically not even remotely accurate. Well, one side is Celsius and one side is Fahrenheit, and it's telling me on the Fahrenheit side it's only 19 degrees in here. That's not working. On the Celsius side, it's saying it's 10 degrees in here. 10 degrees Celsius. It's hotter than a firecracker up in here. But that doggone, thermometer, that's the turd. I ain't telling the truth. It's hot in here. It's hot outside. Air conditioners are struggling. We could fix those too if we want. Make sure everybody's nice and cool when they want to be. Well, I don't know. I've said everything that I can possibly say. I've laid my case out to everybody. Help me to help you. If you want to donate to our cause, it's not just that you go up there and throw a donation down and run away. I want to send you something, you know, one of these coins here, you know, want something. Not asking for something when what I want is another partner. What I want is another gear in the machine, another free thinker at the table. You know, we bring our talents or resources together. You put $1 in the bucket, I put $1 in the bucket, everybody puts $1 in the bucket. You all decide who you trust amongst you to disperse it where it needs to go and get it done. I'm not the money man. I'm not the businessman. I got ideas, you know. Mine are mechanical. Mine are, it's going to end up something like this, you know, simplicity. But what we could do with this is unmatched. I'm going to show one town and one business something amazing with this project. And if it works for them and they're willing to tell you that it worked for them, then we'll go on down the road. And from that, it'll expand out to all the other communities. And now they'll have two economies. They'll have their monetary system, which is the system that we're all fighting with right now, and they'll have a resource-based economy that will rival that monetary system that will benefit every single person in that community. And when they come up with a problem, such as, why is it my pond is always green, it's got algae in it, it's got duckweed, it's got watermeal, we'll show them how to turn that watermeal, that duckweed, and that algae into biodiesels. We'll show them why their pond is even doing that to begin with. We will help the farmer to recycle last year's fertilizer at the same time while cleaning that pond up and revitalizing that pond and assisting nature to bring that back to a beautiful little waterway where the little fishes can swim around and look beautiful. From the farming industry all the way out to every other industry, we have all the solutions on how to actually fix this problem that we've got that is causing our world to look like heck. And those folks that are living out on the streets and they're making trash and leaving trash everywhere, when they realize what they just drew on the ground, you know, the little shopping bag turned into this right here that builds the structural integrity of a homeless shelter, or maybe even a porta potty that so they don't have to pee out in the road or on the sidewalk. They got a restroom that they can use. Turn that restroom into a compost style toilet or a gasifier toilet that will literally give them materials to fuel to cook, or to run a generator that would give a whole entire homeless community electricity to charge up their phones so they can get out there and find a life and a job and all this kind of stuff and have access to everything they need. It's all doable. Every last bit of it's doable. But it ain't doable without you.
You know, it almost sounds like you need to take a community and do all these things that we've been talking about and implement those and get them to working to prove to people what they're actually missing out on and what the government is trying to get you to do and follow their suit, but what's capable of being done.
Yep, I got 17 acres of land that I intend on doing exactly that. I got 17 acres of land that I want to turn into the closest version of the Garden of Eden that I can possibly go.
Yeah, and there is people out there. I've been watching, podcasts and YouTube's videos One of them that I was really impressed with was the guy that built his own island, and he's been doing this for years. And
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, that one I was impressed with. He has a garden, he has his house on it, and he has to add to it each year. But he's using plastic bottles as a flotation device. But he's actually got dirt on it. He's got foundation. He's got a structure on it. It's actually an island, a floating island.
Yeah.
But you take his mentality and what he's doing, he is totally self-contained. Totally self-contained. Yeah,
Well, they said they wanted clean, renewable alternatives, sustainable. They used all this high-tech terminology, but after all these years and all these wars, they ain't been able to do it. That's why it's going to take us to do it. Guys like the guy you're talking about.
yeah. And it's a nice place. It is a nice little paradise that he's got set up there. And when they did a tour of the inside the house, I mean, he's got, a living room, bathroom, shower, everything. It's not no shoddy shack or anything like that. He's spent money on this thing at the same time, but he's used every penny, and he's used recyclables to build this thing. But he's probably, if I remember correctly, he's got like 20 years invested in it. So the capabilities is there.
Well, after 20 years, if it's still functional, he's already proven his point.
Yeah.
You know.
So, what they're trying to cram down our throats now is trying to shove down global. I don't want to go that direction, but it's the pizzerias now. They're saying they're because they're
For those
global
radio
warming.
Give me pizza or give me death.
Yeah. It's like, really? Now, this is
all right, guys.
way overboard, Tom. Way overboard.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
guys, can you hear me?
These ovens they're causing the problem of global warming.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got to start working our way up out of here. But we got hit again there for a second. Anyway, going to be at least 2 sections of the video, part 1 and part 2 of this video out there. So on peopleforpeople.ning.com, we're going to send you all the links. Any thing that you have questions about, throw them out there. We'll get you an answer that you need. Meanwhile, I need to start going around the table and working our way up out here. Tom, what's the last word of wisdom for people? I don't know what that was, but that was crazy. You got any words of wisdom, Tom? No, he's clamming on me. All right, what about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty close with that press. So hopefully we get it up running here pretty soon to help out the bottle caps from Mad Science. And
Cool.
definitely need to start looking into making our own something similar to an ISP, so that way we can all communicate and not have to be on their program to access each other and talk to each other and use each other's information and knowledge and trade resources and stuff.
Agreed. What about you, Dave? You got anything? And Chris, while I'm waiting on Dave, I'll talk to you later about that butterfly thing that I was talking about.
You should get together with me too later about the wooden thing.
Oh yeah, cool. All right. What about you, Dave? You got anything? Dave's not here. All right, well, I guess we're moving right along. Lo, you got anything last before we get out of here?
I would say that the people that are listening in, if you do have a crazy idea, get a hold of Shaz and run it past him. And he's not looking for your money, but if you do want to throw a donation in there, get one of his coins just for the shits and grins and help out a little bit. But get a throw your ideas past him. You never know.
Yeah, we want to hear everybody's ideas. So with that said, we gotta get up out of here. So I'm gonna send us up out of here on doggone I guess Rumble and possibly YouTube. Anyway, peace and love, everybody. You've been listening to the Knights of the Round Table. We threw a little bit of mad science in there because it's all related. We're just trying to make the world a better place. So take care out there.